and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriella Bomben from the Women's Business Development Center, and I'm going to be joining Good Morning Aurora to discuss how you can leverage the power of the crowd to fundraise a 0% interest microloan for your small business. See you on Friday, July 21st at 8 a.m.
Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 7:59 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We got a great show for you guys today. It's Wednesday. It's midway through the week. You're almost there. You're almost there. I know what you're thinking. Some of you probably looking at those tickets. I know where you're going to, Minnesota, going to visit family. But you got some plans for the weekend. The weekend's almost here. We have a great show for you guys today. Here for his second appearance on Good Morning Aurora. He was here in the infancy of Good Morning Aurora. He was here in our teething stages. Is private pilot Joseph Weber. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing well, Curtis. Thank you for inviting me back on the show.
Good to see you, my man. Good to see you.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have a great conversation today. We're going to speak to Joseph about being a pilot and many different aviation-related things. You may have heard, the famous quote that we play, but in Aurora's case, fly is not just a verb, it's an adjective.
You bet.
Yep. So get ready to hear and see some great things. Good morning to everybody. Karina Suarez Darden is here. Good morning, Karina. Aisha Saxon is here as well. Luz, Eleanor Brambila Guerrero. Get to know our friends of the Woodcrafters, Luz and Juan. John Sagul. Good morning to all of you great people. So before we get into the nitty gritty, how are you feeling on this Wednesday? You look real good, man, but how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It is great to be here with you in this early morning, and still learning the set, though, so
no, you're good. You're totally good.
No, really excited to be back here and kind of do part two of kind of my journey with aviation and some of my involvement with the city as well.
Okay, all right.
For sure.
And you're currently with JA Airlines, correct? Or Air?
JA Air Center, yep. That's currently where I work. It's located at the Aurora Airport, and that's where I do my flight training out of as well.
All right. Now, for the listeners, Joseph came onto the show when we were back in our days at Gremlin Studios.
That's right.
I think the show was 7-8 months old.
About
at that time,
right, yeah.
And it was really good. It was really interesting. Joseph was a student at Lewis University at that time. So before the cameras and the mics came on, and in our subsequent conversations recently, I was telling Joseph, like, man, it really feels good to interview him and see his growth. And just see our own growth with them, man. We've both come a long way, but it's really impressive. Started off, and you told me you were going to be a pilot.
That's right.
And here you are.
Absolutely, for sure.
I love it. So the city of Aurora is doing and achieving great things, and we've got some great people here who are doing those things as well. So starting off, man, where were you born and raised?
So I was born and raised in Winfield, Illinois, before we moved out to Aurora, and that was 2001. My dad was originally from Aurora, so I do have Aurora definitely in my blood.
Okay, definitely got Aurora roots.
Yep.
Now, since you've been here in Aurora, so you've been a student, and how long have you been a pilot so far?
So I started my training back in November, and I got my private pilot's license 4 weeks ago, so about 9 months.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Now, when we talk about aviation in Aurora, do you know any of the history of it? And do we have a large industry? We had a historical industry of aviation. We've got the airport out there in Sugar Grove.
Yeah.
But what's the story of aviation locally?
Well, there's way back, I think it was 1910, the Wright brothers actually flew their flyer around Aurora, I think as a demonstration, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
We also currently have the en route air traffic control facility, which is over by Mercy Center,
Okay.
which that's a big deal for air traffic control in the Chicagoland airspace. And we do have the Aurora Airport, which is out west a little bit.
Okay. So that's pretty interesting. Now, our friend, historian Tracy Duran, she's shown us some pictures of the Wright brothers in their time
Yes.
here in Aurora on the flight. She still has those pictures. Maybe we should re-interview her someday.
Absolutely.
But that's very interesting too to know that there is a tradition and a history locally.
Yeah.
Of aviation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know about the Sugar Grove Airport. What can you tell us about it?
Oh, it's a great airport to train out of, especially as a student pilot. The air traffic controllers over there are also students, so they're learning. So it's kind of a learning environment airport, which I really like. And it's set up in a way where there could be a lot of potential growth, and things are kind of in the works, kind of in the background to get it growing. But great airport, fantastic people, great networking connections. And we also have something called EAA Chapter 579,
Okay.
which they give free airplane rides for kids. It's, I think, the last Sunday of the month during the summer months. So if you go onto the website for EAA Chapter 579 or their Facebook page, you can get more information about that. Trying to get the younger kids interested in aviation, or at least share our experiences in aviation with the younger generation. It's a great organization.
How young? What are the ages or age requirements for that?
I want to say it's 14, but don't quote me on that. Like I said, go to the website and the Facebook page, and you can find out more.
Okay. All right. Thanks for letting us know about that. If anyone is interested with their young people to get them up there flying and get them acclimated to the rigors of flying, definitely EAA Chapter 579.
Correct.
What's EAA stand for?
It's the Experimental Aircraft Association.
Ah.
So EAA, you may have heard of AirVenture, which is the big air show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin that happens every year, which is actually be happening this next week. It's a national organization that has chapters at the local airports all throughout the country.
Okay.
At Aurora's, we've got a great chapter, great people, great pilots, crowded every time. So love to see that grow even more. And like I say, get the younger generation at least exposed to aviation and the beauty of it, for sure.
Okay. How long you been with JA Air Center?
JA, it's only been 2 months.
Okay.
2 months. Yep.
All right. You like it?
I love it. The people over there are fantastic. The work environment's great, and I love interacting with the pilots coming in and out, hearing their stories, kind of getting some learning tips from them as well, going through my training.
Right.
So just a great environment as a student pilot.
All right, very cool. The time is 8:06 a.m. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Good morning to all of you beautiful people. Daniel Calderon is here. He says, good morning, Aurora, with the big old sun. Good to see you, my brother. Meredith Colin Dunham is here. Good morning, Meredith. Matthew Rainey is here. Let me tell you about Matthew Rainey. Matthew Rainey is one half of the fantastic duo Rent-A-Chef.
Okay.
And it's just like it sounds. You can rent the chef and the team. So he and his wife have this business, and they go there and they bring, they cook the food for you in wherever your location is, at your home.
Oh, wow.
Your backyard party, your Prisco Center, anywhere you're set up at, they will come there and do it for you. Fantastic menu items. Everything from andouille sausage to kiwi fruit. They got it for you.
Nice.
They got it for you. Saul Olivas is here as well. Good morning to your dear brother. Saul Olivas is East Aurora School Board member. He's a great brother. So how did the journey of becoming a pilot start?
I think
most kids just want to do dinosaurs and all that, man. But you... No.
Oh, man, we need like 10 shows. We need 10 shows for this one.
The Joseph Weber series.
No. So
it's got a nice ring to it, right?
It started with my grandfather taking me to the local airport just to watch airplanes. We used to go to DuPage Airport in West Chicago,
Okay.
Watch planes, go to McDonald's for lunch afterwards, and I kind of got hooked that way. And there was another airport. We have a summer home in the UP of Michigan that we visit every year.
Upper Peninsula,
yeah. And there's an airport there that had a blue Beechcraft 1900D aircraft that used to come in. It used to be Midwest Express Airlines, for those of you who remember that airlines a long time ago. And that was my favorite aircraft as a kid because it was painted my favorite color, blue.
All right. All right.
And it became a tradition that every time we would go up to the UP, we'd have to visit the airport to see this blue airplane. And long story short, the airport had a pig roast one day, invited the public, and the grand prize raffle was 2 tickets anywhere that Midwest Express flew. And my grandfather and I won those tickets. So this was, I think, 3rd grade, so I was about, what, 7? Got to ride on my favorite airplane, and I was so hooked.
And that was it.
Oh, yeah, and there's so much more, but that's like an entire story in a nutshell for sure.
Okay.
Every plane ride that I've been on, I just love seeing the world from above, seeing a new perspective. Seeing points of local interest from above is also like it's mind blowing. It's so cool.
Right.
That's what I love about it.
Now your educational journey.
Yes.
Tell us your educational journey post high school.
Yeah, so I went to Waubonsie Community College for 2 years just to get my associates, and then I went to Lewis University after that for 3 years, where I got my degree in aviation administration, which is like the business side of aviation, and a minor in unmanned aircraft systems because I was doing the photography at that time too, and I wanted to kind of put the drones with the regular still photos of the regular camera. Sure. So I wanted to do the drones as kind of a segue into photography, or in addition to photography, I guess you could say.
What's the importance of the business side of aviation?
Oh my gosh, that's another 10 shows. I mean, there's so many different teams that make aviation happen, from the corporates to the line guys that are on the ramp to even kind of the job that I do at JA, where we're listening to the fuel call outs, we're billing, making car reservations for pilots and passengers. It's a major team effort with many different parts that kind of come together to make it happen.
What's the difference between an air center and an airport?
So when I referred to the air traffic control center, they're controlling like a section of airspace above us.
Okay.
And so think about like these imaginary boundaries that surround our skies above us with planes flying through them. And the air traffic control allows aircraft to proceed through those spaces safely, efficiently. And the airport is kind of like the central station where the aircraft land, get their services, pick up passengers, maybe drop off cargo. That's another big business. So, yeah.
Okay, so strictly a commercial basis for that.
Or general aviation, where you might have people like me who are private pilots, and that's all they want to do. They have their airplane in a hangar, and they fly for fun.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, does JA Center only accommodate private pilots and cargo and passengers and what have you?
So JA Air Center is known as a fixed based operator, or FBO for short.
Oh.
So that's
going to be a Jeopardy question. Y'all better what? I'm ready for that one.
Right. There's so many acronyms in aviation. It's not even funny, but it's great. So basically what JA does is they have the central location where you have like private corporate jets coming in, dropping people off, getting fuel. That's where they can pick up the car reservations like I would make or whatever.
Right.
We have a crew car in case they want to go get lunch or something and then come back and, take off. They also have the flight school where I'm training out of. They have a maintenance facility. So it's an FBO, fixed base operator, is like a central business where many services take place for an airport.
Okay.
And we also do offer fueling for aircraft that are based at the airport. So say, Curtis, you have a plane in a hangar down the airport and you need fuel, you call JA and we bring the fuel truck to you, fill up your airplane, and bill you accordingly.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
cool. Good to know. The time is 8:12. Dan Barrero's here. Good morning, Dan Barrero. Juan Cayetano is here. Says, morning, folks. Wishing y'all a successful day out there. Absolutely. GMA, right back to you, Dan Barrero. Man, so many great people.
Absolutely.
Here, ready to hear about aviation, all the beautiful things associated with it.
Oh, yeah.
Now, as mentioned, I'm going to give the people the weather.
Okay.
So we'll do the weather real quick for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not yet seen the weather, there it is for you up on your screen. Here's the 4-day outlook with the highest chance of scattered thunderstorms on Thursday in northwest Indiana. Today's high will be 87 degrees, cooler near Lake Michigan. You know what? Hold up. Scratch it. This seems even more cool now doing it with you.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
it's like I'm just imagining we're in the copter or something. Like, oh, well. Let me keep dreaming. Let me keep giving the weather to these people. Anyway, 69 degrees is the nighttime high this evening with a chance of thunderstorms as well. Tomorrow, 88 degrees, the daytime high, 66 degrees, the nighttime high. Friday, 83 with a nighttime high of 65. And Saturday, look at Saturday, 85 degrees for your daytime high with a 20% chance of thunderstorms in the evening and a nighttime high of 66. All right. Now, that weather is brought to you by the National Weather Service of Chicago. Tried and trusted, but also delivered to you here on Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. The time is 8:13 a.m. We have another special guest that's coming on Friday, Gabriella Bomben, who's going to be talking to the crowd about microloans and Kiva. We also have an associated ad, which I'm going to play for you guys right now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gabriella Bomben from the Women's Business Development Center, and I'm going to be joining Good Morning Aurora to discuss how you can leverage the power of the crowd to fundraise a 0% interest microloan for your small business. See you on Friday, July 21st at 8 a.m.
Time is 8:14 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Joe Jackson is here, and also Norma Peterson. Good morning to you, fantastic folks.
Okay, Norma, that name rings a bell.
Yeah. Norma Oh, yeah, absolutely. She was watching back when you were on.
Right. Norma, thank you for liking a lot of my pictures on Facebook. I recognize the name.
Absolutely. Yeah, Norma Peterson is a dear friend of the show. Norma Peterson has been tuning in with us for a long time, and we really appreciate it. She's a fan of your work as well. All the downtown people doing great things. I think she particularly likes your storm pictures.
Yes. When he was reading the weather, it's like I am always looking for opportunities for thunderstorms because that makes the best pictures. It really does.
Oh, I love bad weather. Anytime the weather gets bad, my heart starts beating in love.
But from an aviation point of view, storms are very dangerous.
Of course,
for flying.
absolutely.
So
right.
For photography, it's great on the ground, but for flying, not too good.
Dan Barrero says, Juan says, nice. We used to work at Midway International Airport and agreed aviation is a beautiful world. How about it?
Amen.
Very cool. Dan Barrero says, jet airliner, fly, Robin, fly, to name a few to go with the show. Oh,
awesome. Awesome. I love it.
Okay. So I wanted to, Norma Pierce says, you're welcome. Love your work. Now, we're also going to talk about your photography, but I still want to stick onto the particular aviation aspects and ask you a couple of things about it.
Absolutely.
And this goes back to what we were talking about with the human element and everything. What are the pressures that the human body goes through or has to deal with being in a cockpit and being subjected to aviation?
Sure. I mean, you are at a point of ultra focus, and that's honestly the best way I can describe it. Not only on your instruments, but looking outside, looking for other aircraft, knowing the weather, knowing your aircraft systems, knowing the regulations. So, there's areas, kind of going back to that airspace that I was talking about, like with the center, you got to know what airspace you're in, what are the regulations for that particular airspace. And that's why I'm saying this show could go on for so long, because there's so much involved, but you're in an ultra focused mode with so much going on, so much multitasking, which sounds very difficult, and it is, but at the same time, it's fun. Like, it's such an experience. It's like none other. It really is.
Right.
For sure.
And is there your back, your arms, your legs? What's the physical toll?
I'd say it's more of working your brain, honestly. Like, yes, you have your hand on the control wheel, and that's how you're flying the airplane. Sure. You have your feet on the rudder pedal. That's one aspect. But with the multitasking, you literally feel both sides of your brain being worked.
Right.
Seriously.
Right. Now I can grasp what you're talking about because it takes a lot to operate the systems, but you're also dealing with nature.
Yeah. Yes.
I've never flown a plane. I've only been in commercial airplanes going on trips.
Sure.
But when I see pilots and aviation, I watch a lot of like World War II documentaries and what have you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
when I see pilots in aviation landing on the aircraft carriers, all those good Navy stories, it's I have a respect for it because of what it takes on the physical aspect of the pilot and everything.
Right, absolutely.
When you're being trained, what is that training like, and is it adequate to prepare you for when you're actually up there?
Absolutely. I'd say another key word in aviation is precision, for sure. So one of the maneuvers that we are taught in our training is known as a short field landing, which, say you're landing on a short runway where you have to stop within the length of the runway. You have to hit a certain mark or you're not going to make it. You're going to go off the runway.
Right.
So, and throughout my training, that was one of the more difficult maneuvers that I had to learn, but it is very applicable for down the road. Other than that, a lot of emergency procedures, because, you know, everything's not absolute. So what do you do in an emergency? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the training is definitely applicable for the next steps.
Right. I remember we interviewed you first, I believe, but we interviewed Carl Franco.
Okay.
Fifth Ward Alderman. He was an air traffic controller, and I'm not too, I know he was an air traffic controller, but I know he had another title. But anyway,
Sure.
I don't want to minimize his work, but he was like an air traffic controller in aviation for like 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Before he became an alderman. And I was like, whoa, you really got to have your head screwed on
Oh, yeah.
tight for that. And it's very interesting to hear him talk about the daily pressures and the things that you must look out for.
Yeah.
And these are musts.
Right.
Musts. There is no plan B.
No.
It's like, get it out of there. There is no plan B.
The
Precision is the word, as you were mentioning. I'm sorry.
So I guess the best way to kind of summarize, because I totally agree with you, that same thought is, I talked to a pilot one time. He's like, you have to prepare to make an emergency uneventful. Like you train so hard that when an emergency does happen, it's like, we took care of it.
Right.
And honestly, that's the way it has to be. Not I'm not saying just to make it smooth and stuff, but
right.
You know what to do in that moment.
Absolutely. Training is key, and safety is paramount as well. Maria Chirito, good morning to you. You also mentioned because for the, I'll give the spoiler alert for you folks out there. This is a guest I actually know, so we're like
no strangers on this show.
So we're friends, and we like talk a lot.
Yeah, we do.
But when we were last putting up the flags, the American flags downtown, getting ready for the 4th of July parade.
Yes.
You mentioned something that struck me and has stayed with me ever since, and it was being humble.
Yes.
Now you're a private pilot, and you have to be humble.
Right.
Talk about being humble. What does that mean?
I wish we had 10 more shows. Seriously.
You're a friend of the show. You can come back, bro. You can come back. So you're baked in the cake.
So aviation will definitely find your weaknesses. You have to go in mentally prepared for each flight. You have to treat it like each mission, honestly. And even though you're so ultra focused, there is a certain it's calm up there. It's peaceful. And I guess that's kind of where the humbling goes in. It like flattens everything out because you're so focused. Then you're up in the air. It's quiet. It's beautiful. You come back on the ground, and you're like, oh, I'm back in reality. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Okay. All right. Now, what do you do to maintain that when you're flying? Like, how do you just soak and let it?
Well, again, you soak it in, but you're so ultra focused because you're constantly checking so many different things. Like I said, your instruments, looking outside, your systems, the attitude of the airplane, like, I'm climbing, descending, turning, straight and level flight. Like, you're constantly like check. For sure.
Okay. All right. That's pretty interesting, man. The humbleness. You got to be humble.
Right.
You have to be humble in your craft with the elements.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There is a term, another trivia question or
hold on. Let me get that.
Question.
Hold up. Let me get my notepad.
Right. PIC, Papa India Charlie, pilot in command.
Ooh.
And that's not me, shaking my finger like I am the pilot in command. Listen to what I say. It's you are in control of the mission. So if something goes wrong, it does kind of fall on you. So
Right.
that's why you have to be so like knowing what's going on in the airplane, out of the airplane, around the airplane,
Right.
the whole 9 yards.
Now, what kind of airplane do you fly?
I fly a Skyhawk, which is a Cessna 172. I primarily fly the Mike models and November models, which is like the 70s from the 1970s, believe it or not.
Okay, Mike in November. What do the M and N designate?
Just the model.
Okay.
Just different model names.
Okay.
Great airplanes, really fun to fly. Great view because they're high wings, so you don't have the wing blocking your view.
Right.
And yeah, just great airplanes to fly. Really fun.
You listen to any music when you're flying?
No, I'm listening to my headset. I'm listening to air traffic control.
Yeah, now that sounds like a dumb question. My bad.
That's
Hold on,
okay.
Let me scratch myself up. Why the hell would you be listening to music? This is no time for Ozzy. Right? That'd be kind of cool, though, wouldn't it? Anyway, Stephen Hendry is here. Good morning, Stephen Hendry. Time is 8:24. So I'm going to deliver those other two pieces of news real quick for these people.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to deliver the AA Electric news. Ladies and gentlemen, our friends of AA Electric, Aurora Electric, are here for you and all of your electrical related needs 24/7, bringing service to light. Licensed, experienced, and with 24/7 service. This is your $100 off coupon for main panel upgrades or a rewire job. Now that's a humdinger. 630-486-1128 is the number you need. 630-486-1128. Over 30 years of experience. Peter Aguilera is a friend of the show. We love him very much. Let him know that you heard about it here on Good Morning Aurora. So there you go. Take a screenshot right there. Yeah, now there's your coupon. I don't want to hear nobody, oh, Curtis, can you put it back on the screen? Well, maybe we can later on for you guys. So, yeah. Get your electrical work on right there. And if you have not seen it yet, ladies and gentlemen, there's the weather. Now, we told you guys the weather. There it is for you. 87 degrees a high today. Tomorrow's going to be 88 degrees as well. Luz is here, and she says, yes, I had the chance of working on both airports, and at MDW, I met the love of my life. Now, my husband. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Ain't that cute?
So do you want to do another final exam question? What MDW stands for?
Yeah, that's MDW is Midway.
Correct.
Absolutely. Come on. Could you imagine if a Chicago boy like me didn't know that? What?
Well, some of them are really weird. Like O'Hare is
ORD. Yeah, ORD. Yeah, that is weird. Now, how did those designations come about?
It's the identifier. So the true identifier would be KMDW. So K is for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me how they came up with that, but KMDW Midway, KORD O'Hare, KARR is Aurora. It's the airport identifier, which is pretty cool. KARR. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
KARR.
Yeah.
Car.
That's right.
That's
Kilo
nice.
Alpha Romeo.
Ooh. Do you know the whole? Can you do the whole thing?
Yeah, I could do that.
You can?
I think so.
Hit
yeah.
it. Hit it.
So it'd be Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel, India, Juliet, Kilo, Lima, Mike, November, Oscar, Papa, Quebec, Sierra, Tango,
You missed R.
Romeo.
Mhm.
So Tango, what am I missing now? WXYZ. So Whiskey, Yankee, Zulu.
You didn't do you.
Uniform.
Oh. Joseph Weber killed that, ladies and gentlemen. He killed it. Good job, man. Good job.
That's the phonetic alphabet if people didn't know what that was.
Absolutely. Joseph Mendoza Geller is here. Tracy Duran's here. She says, yay, Joseph is on the air and in the air. ORD is because the airport was originally called Orchard Field Airport.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
Tracy Duran, thank you for the history. Alderman Bug is here. He says, fantastic. Good to hear you, Joseph.
Oh, thanks, Alderman Bug. Shout out to you.
Shout out to Alderman Bug, Alderman of the 9th Ward. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to ask you about, we're going to start moving into the photography aspect.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, how long have you been a photographer? How long have you been doing photography?
Honestly, just since 2017.
Okay.
Used to love to draw as a kid, and then got my hands on a little point and shoot camera. that I used to bring with me on my walks to Wabanzi Community College here in downtown. Just used to start snapping pictures, and it grew and grew and grew.
Okay.
And it's where it is today. I mean, I love photography. I love photographing Aurora for sure. We've got such a beautiful city. The architecture, the layout, so much to capture. There's
Right.
always something to capture down here.
Right. Absolutely. Now, what took you to the specific scenery and storm photography?
I just love weather. That's another thing.
Okay.
The clouds, kind of like the dramatic skies, the lightning for sure. Lightning is so much fun to capture. I love doing that. I took a course back in, this was just a couple of years ago when I was still in Lewis. Actually, our photo club met a photographer from Chicago, Nick Valeri, and he gave a workshop on how to do lightning photography. And man, that opened up a whole new world for me to try to capture things.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Now you brought your camera with you today as well.
I did, yes.
All right. Can we see the goods? Uh-oh. Y'all, this is going to be something.
I have multiple cameras,
All right.
but this is the one I mostly have been using in downtown.
There it is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what makes this camera efficient for what you do and useful?
It's just a regular DSLR.
Okay.
It shoots what's known as raw files, which kind of help with the editing process. Okay. It's not a compressed file; it's raw, so it's all the data that's gathered in the image.
Okay.
It's just easy, light. You can bring it with you anywhere. So a lot of the photography, like for storms, yes, I try to come down here and wait for the storm and stuff.
Sure.
But a lot of the photography can also be like spur of the moment. So I got it with me, snap the picture. Then we'll worry about the picture later, and as far as editing and stuff like that. So,
what is aperture?
So aperture controls what's known as depth of field, and the easiest way I can describe that is if we put this coffee cup on the table and we wanted to take a picture of it. We wanted to get the Dunkin' in focus, but we wanted the background blurred. That's what aperture can control. But say we wanted this Dunkin' cup with that painting over there in focus.
Right.
That's depth of field. So you can change the depth of field with aperture. And also aperture allows you to change the exposure, the light that comes into the image. So you can either make the image brighter or darker with aperture too.
Okay. Interesting. Now, besides those basic fundamentals, what did you learn or what have you learned in your time of being a photographer?
There's a lot. I mean, composition is one thing.
Okay.
Editing style is something that I'd say is the hardest thing to learn, because you see somebody's work and you're like, how do they do it? You know, I want to be just like that person. But at the same time, photography is more like you have to find your own style.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So there's been a lot of great photographers that I've met who are also local photographers, and they've given me some advice on how to improve my images. And it's more just like playing and figuring it out, honestly. What do you like, or how do you want to edit the image to make it what you want to portray? You know, like the lightning shots that I just took. I got the raw image, but I want to make sure that people see the lightning, you know, behind Leland Tower kind of a thing.
Right.
Not just like an image. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
You want to draw their eye to a specific part of the
You want to
image.
make them feel something.
Yeah.
Feel some type of way, right?
Absolutely. Like, you want to make them feel like they're standing right next to you when that lightning strike happened, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Now, what are the groups that you post those on? Because you have those are specific pages on Facebook.
Yeah, so it's the what's happening in Aurora, mostly the Aurora Downtown Hub, and then there's also the Aurora City of Lights, Brilliant and Beautiful. It's run by Jill Lamoni.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. The time is 8:32 a.m., ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We're here with our dear friend Joseph Weber. Tell us about J. Weber Photography.
So J. Weber Photography was a little business that I started as I was kind of going through, you know, the transition from university to establishing a career. I do photography on the side. I'm going to be doing some part-time work for VHT Studios, which I think I wasn't doing that when you first interviewed me. So
No, you were not.
No, VHT Studios is actually a real estate photography agency
Okay.
where they contract out local photographers to capture like a certain section of, say, Chicagoland.
Correct.
So realtors go through VHT. VHT notify me of a job opportunity, and I can accept it and do the real estate photography photos for that specific realtor.
Okay.
And J.W.E.R Photography was just kind of a little business that I kind of put together for myself, just kind of a collection to say, this is who I am. This is kind of work that I do. I have a little website just to kind of show, who J.W.E.R is and kind of the work that he does.
Right. You do drone photography.
I do. Yep.
Okay.
So that's also another service I'll be doing for VHT when I'm starting with them. And also love drone images of Aurora looking down the river. Absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
So,
So ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Weber did the photography. He did the videography for Buenos Dias Aurora.
yes.
So that Buenos Dias Aurora real footage that you see, that's Joseph Weber's work. It's Broadway. Went up and down Broadway.
Yep.
By the casino. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. So the next time you watch Buenos Dias Aurora and you look at that scenery, that's Joseph Weber's drone photography. Absolutely fantastic. And we got more things in the work too that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to do some more drone photography, and we want to capture more imagery for you guys and show you guys something new. So we're always thinking of new things and a new perspective and a way to showcase Aurora.
Absolutely. For sure.
Time is 8:34. Cindy Morales is here. Good morning to you, Cindy Morales. Tracy Duran says, plus O'Hare Airport is named after Edward Butch O'Hare,
Yes.
who was a U.S. Navy first flying ace and Medal of Honor recipient in World War II. His father, Edward Easy Eddie O'Hare, was killed by Al Capone's men.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Didn't know that. Salty.
Wow.
Okay, time is 8:34. So, with the drone photography, and with manning the drone,
Sure.
What's that been like? How's that been challenging? What was it like when you started? What's it like for you now? Obviously, you're more adept at it. You know what you're doing when you're using the drones.
Right.
But technology and drone technology specifically is changing.
Yeah.
It's changing. Talk about the changes and talk about how it was when you started, getting acclimated to it, and where you see it going.
So there's definitely a lot of freedom. So let's say from a photography aspect, there's a lot of freedom of like what you want to capture.
Right.
But with me, I have what's known as my Part 107 certification, which is I am licensed to do drone photography, meaning I've got the training and I understand the laws. So
Right.
there's also like, okay, I'm flying the drone. I have to make sure I maintain visual line of sight, which is I can still see physically the drone off in the distance.
Right.
Where I can't just like launch it and take it down the river and be like, oh, I think I lost it, but I'm getting great shot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I have to really think about that because I have an FAA license to fly drones.
Right.
So something to keep in mind. Also airspaces. So it's LANCE is what the acronym is. Don't ask me the meaning of that one right now. But LANCE is something where I have to get permission to fly in a certain airspace. So say if I get a real estate job in a neighborhood close to Aurora Airport, well, it's in aviation airspace. I'm flying an unmanned vehicle in that airspace. I have to get certain permission to fly there.
Right. Aha. Okay. Okay. Because drones are able to be purchased and used, and not everybody is licensed.
Right. Right. People think that they can just, fly for fun, which, it's great, but you really have to be careful because kind of going back to emergencies, you can have emergencies with drones too,
Right.
where there's like a signal issue. The thing flies away on its own, and we don't want something bad happening. That's for sure.
Should there be a standard or a basic training class or a course or a licensing before one could purchase just a drone and start doing your thing?
I think so.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
Yep.
All
I
right.
mean, at least to understand more about the airspace system and kind of how it works, just to be more aware of your surroundings
Right.
as well.
Right. Okay. Absolutely. No, it makes sense to me. I mean, personally, I take it seriously. You know what I'm saying? I understand airspaces. I understand especially the fact that like you can't just fly everywhere
Right.
and capture every single thing.
Right.
There would perhaps be a privacy aspect that some people may want to maintain. I mean, your nice shot of the neighborhood could be somebody else's intrusion.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. That's kind of a gray area. It really is. For
Right.
sure.
All right. Interesting to know that. All right. Time's 8:38 a.m. Gloria Gerardo is here. Good morning to you, Gloria. Good to see you as well. Now, unmanned aerial systems. Okay. How many different types of systems are there?
That's a good question. So, I mean, you have to kind of look at the remote sensing, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So, a system is many parts. So, like for a drone, you have the remote control transponding to the vehicle and then sending a signal back. So that's kind of the system in a way.
Okay.
Where, yes, there is a human controlling it, but at the same time, you got the computer and the electronics basically hovering the drone in midair. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where the system aspect comes from it.
Okay. Do you have any plans to do anything further or take the drone usage further?
Right now, no, because I'm focusing on my flight training
Okay.
and my eventual career of flying as a commercial pilot, airline pilot.
Okay.
But just again, doing the real estate for side hustle, little gig for right now. That's probably where I'm gonna cap it for right
Keep
now.
it at? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now you mentioned going into the commercial airline field.
Yep.
Become a commercial airline pilot. And you know, not to question one's goals, but would you find that more comfortable than being a private pilot?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Why is that?
I mean, one, you're traveling all over the place and getting to see so many different parts of the world.
Right.
I'm the type of person that gets excited on any trip that I take. And then it's just an overall great job. And plus, you've probably heard of the pilot shortage that's been brought up in the news
Yes.
quite frequently.
Yes.
I mean, this is the time, if you've ever been interested in aviation and want to at least attempt to go to the airlines, this is the time to do it.
Right.
So it's like, take advantage of the opportunity and run with it. You know what
See?
I'm saying?
That's the elite, right?
You bet.
We were just talking about that. I mean, if anybody's looking for a pilot, we know one. All right. The time is 8:40 a.m., you guys. And once again, I'm going to take us to a commercial.
Okay.
Let these great folks know about Friday's episode that we have coming up with Kiva and Microloans and our friends of the Women's Business Development Center.
Sure.
Tracy Duran says, I was with Joseph when he did a wonderful drone shot of Leland Tower for me. We did a then and now photo. It was so much fun to watch him in action. I remember that.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You did it in the same area, right? It was the same. You put the drone footage was in the same exact area.
Maybe Tracy, because she did a post on it, maybe she could share that with you. It was a picture she had from a long time ago, and we did like the same corner shot, same view. Yep.
Hey Tracy, if you got that picture, Facebook message it to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'll play that on Friday. Show that. That was awesome. Okay, here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriella Bomben from the Women's Business Development Center, and I'm going to be joining Good Morning Aurora to discuss how you can leverage the power of the crowd to fundraise a 0% interest microloan for your small business. See you on Friday, July 21st at 8 a.m.
For all of you entrepreneurs, this Friday will be a great episode for you. Once again, Gabriella Bomben is going to be our guest from the Women's Business Development Center and talking about crowdfunding and microloans and how your business can grow and be helped in an entrepreneurial spirit and fashion. 8:41 is the time. And last but not least, there's your weather for you again. I love the weather. I love putting the weather up there for you. And we did the weather live this morning. I didn't pre-record it and post it. We did the weather live. And I think that's going to be the future of Good Morning Aurora. We're just going to do the weather live for you guys every single day of your lives.
See, this is amazing how far even the show has come since the first time you interviewed me. Like, absolutely amazing to see how this has grown.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
For sure.
Because when we when we interviewed you, man, I couldn't do, when we interviewed you, I couldn't even do any of this.
I was going to say we had like one microphone and like one computer, and that was it.
That was it. Yep. That's all we had, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we pulled it out. And plus, it wasn't live.
Yeah, you're right.
It was not live. I had no idea even how to do that. But
wow,
I had gone live on my phone on Facebook, pushed a button and talk.
Sure.
But other than that, I had never streamed anything.
Right. Right.
But I was like, no, I got to figure it out.
This is an amazing
Gotta
story
figure it
too.
out, man.
I mean, yeah.
Got to figure it out. Okay, I asked you about pressures of the cockpit, but I did want to ask you about depth perception too, and how your senses have changed of being in the, now taking, because you're presumably, and this is a novice asking you, but you're presumably now completely acclimated to the flying experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Your senses, your depth perception, has that changed over time? Are you more acute now being on the ground when you get out of the cockpit? Do you notice things differently?
Not really, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, again, you go into the aircraft kind of expecting it, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But when you come back down, you just kind of come back to your normal person, is it, how I could describe it.
Okay.
Sure.
You told me about seeing your dad one day flying. You flew over your neighborhood.
Oh,
and you
that's
got waved at.
yes.
Tell that story. That was.
Oh,
love that.
this is another reason why
That
I
made me
love
feel good.
aviation for sure. So, this is when I officially got. This is before I officially got my private pilot's license. I was soloing, which is you and the airplane and no one else, not even your instructor. I was soloing and doing some practice maneuvers, and I wanted to fly over my neighborhood, and my dad was on the driveway waving at me, and I could totally see him, so I quickly got my phone out, took a picture, and when you zoom in onto my driveway, you can see him waving, which is that's what I love about aviation for sure, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Proud moment for both you and Dad.
Absolutely. He's always joking with me because he was trying to tell me to rock my wings, but I couldn't understand what his hand movements were. That was
Right.
the only thing. So,
Right. Like, why are you wearing no clothes?
No. He was wearing clothes, I guarantee you. But, no, so now that I know every time I fly over the neighborhood, I should rock my wings. So.
Nice. So the next goal is to become a commercial pilot.
Yep.
With United Airlines. That's what we're going for.
United for sure is the
United
airline
for
that
sure.
I have my eye on.
Where are we at in that journey? How long of a process is that going to be? And what's happening in the interim to make that goal a closer reality?
Right. So I got my private pilot's license, which is like the first license, the first step. Now what I'm working on is my instrument rating. So as a private pilot, again, this could be 10 shows, I'm a visual flyer, so I'm not allowed to fly through clouds just yet.
Okay.
When I get my instrument rating, I can fly through clouds. So you don't have to have that visual flight rule all the time. After I get my instrument rating, I move on to commercial, and once I get my commercial rating, then I can start flying for hire. As a private pilot, you cannot fly for hire.
Why not?
It's just the law. So I could do things for like flying for a charity, but for like an actual airline, you cannot do that as a private pilot.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. Good to know that. So the travel that comes with that, the lifestyle associated with that, are you ready for it?
It's going to take some adjustment, I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, I got to remember, I love traveling. I love exploring. The adventurous aspect of me, like that, I think will definitely pave the way for that lifestyle.
As a private pilot, who are your clients now?
There's really no clients. It's more taking friends and family up.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I see. I see. Okay. Understood.
So I guess the best way to describe it is the private pilot level. You can take family and friends up. You have a license. They trust you flying an airplane. They trust you knowing the regs and all that stuff to, go from point A, point B with friends and family.
Okay. And do you own your own plane?
I don't own my own plane. That's
Not
big
yet,
bucks.
Right? Not yet, right?
That might be a retirement goal.
That'd be a good goal.
Yeah,
That'd be a good goal.
for sure.
Then you can take your boy out. Curtis, where you at, man? Hey, I see you.
That's right.
Montgomery, Illinois. How you doing out there?
A-Town.
A-Town. That's right. So in all the questions that we asked you, I'm going to go back to what we talked about with the photography, because
Sure.
I still got some things that I want to
Sure.
work out with you. We talk offline and our own, as we know.
Right.
But your preference when it comes to doing your photography and your drone work, your preference is the morning.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What do we need to know, or what does one need to know if I'm gonna reach out to you for my drone photography and my drone work again?
Sure.
What do I need to know or keep in mind as a client or a customer before I reach out to you?
That's a really good question. So let's talk about the morning. So when I did the Buenos Dias Aurora videos, I needed to make sure I brought my anti-collision light because I was flying a half hour before sunrise. So there's some other equipment that I'd have to bring to do that specific time frame based on the law.
Okay.
So even though, half hour before sunrise, it's still pretty bright. By law, I need that anti-collision light 30 minutes before sunrise.
Okay.
Other than that, it's communication. What's the game plan? What do you have in vision? How can I reach your goal of that vision?
Right.
So I'd say communication is the biggest thing.
Okay. Yeah, we communicated very well, and it came out much to our liking. And I think that you also mentioned, like, you like doing that kind of stuff in the morning time anyway, too. So it really showcases the city
Yes.
in a nice light. It really makes the city look good.
It's a very tranquil time. Very tranquil, very peaceful.
Yep, absolutely. Good feeling out there. Before we go, I want to detail times 8:48 a.m. I did want to go back to the conversation that we kind of didn't finish before the mics came on, and that was sunrise versus sunset.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I want to ask the audience what they like more. So we'll just have people put that in the chat.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you like more?
Sunrise?
Do you like sunrise or sunset? Let us know in the chat. Put your answer in the chat. Because I'm of the opinion that I'm not typically up anyway to see the sunset. I go to sleep very early.
Sure.
I watch every sunrise, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm of the opinion that sunrise will make you feel good solo, but sunset really is cool to watch with a significant other or on your porch, something like that. That's more of a co feeling. But what do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, when I'm down here, well, like during the summertime, I'm down here at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's just me in the city. It's beautiful.
Right.
Like, you're one with nature for sure. And then also you kind of get that little bit of a waiting game where it goes from really dark skies to like the blue hour, and then you start seeing the pinks and the oranges and all that stuff. And then it's like, okay, there's some clouds in the distance, so you're going to get that fiery sky look, or is the sunrise going to be a bust? So it can kind of be a game, like what's going to happen, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And again, with photographing aurora, there's always something to capture. So even though the sunrise doesn't happen how you'd like it, you can still get something that's worth, documenting and showcasing. So
very well said. Jennifer I. Mayton is here. She said, sunset, the warm glow as it goes down.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
That's fair. It's totally fair.
Yep. Times 8:50. And where are your favorite places to shoot?
Oh, man.
I mean, I see you all over the place, but it seems like a smorgasbord of locations. I haven't seen you in the same spot twice. Actually, I have seen you in the same spot twice.
Yes, you have.
I have. Typically by SciTech on the bridge.
Yes.
Yep.
So Benton Street by SciTech over there by P.O.W.E.R Architect's new office. That is my favorite spot.
Right across from Society 57.
Correct. I do like shooting from the new pedestrian bridge because that's a new perspective aurora that just came about a couple of years or 2 years ago now that the bridge opened.
Right.
The parking garages for sure, especially for the lightning, to be protected from the storm.
Absolutely.
But you can see the storm coming, you can see the lightning all around, and you can get a great wide-angled shot from there. And then, honestly, again, that boils down to composition, like what's happening, what looks good, what could you create. So I did, when we had the smog or the haze a couple weeks ago when it was really bad, I got a shot of the Hobbs building with the Onion Dome from the parking garage looking down Galena a little bit. And that was a newer one for me to try. And again, just kind of finding what might work for the shot that you might want to take, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rick Guzman is here. Good morning to you. Sam Nunez is here. Good morning to you as well. So many of our dear friends and great people are here. Emily Bowe is here. Get to know Zenloft 6 South Stope Avenue, the corner of Downer and Stope. Great place, great friends up in there. Here's those answers. Tracy Durant says sunset. Saul Oliva says during the school year, sunrise. During the summer, sunset.
Okay.
And Daniel Calderon says sunrise to start your day off. See, I feel that. I'm feeling that.
Sure.
But more sunsets than sunrises.
Hey, it's okay. I mean, one of the coolest things that happens in Aurora that I love to photograph, and this is sunset, is the winter solstice in December, because the sun literally sets down the river. Like if you're on New York Street looking, that's south, the sun sets right down there. So we could definitely get some cool sunset shots in the city.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Good morning, Aurora. Right back to you. Emily and Norma Peterson says such a great perspectives in your photos. I agree with that. Time's 8:53 a.m. So we covered all of the bases, but you have a photograph too that you brought.
Yes, I wanted to kind of combine the theme of today's show with photography and aviation.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure a lot of the people who have commented have seen this image because I did post it a while back.
All right. Okay.
This
Let's
is a
see.
shot that I took of Aurora from me flying the airplane. So let me
Hold on a second. Let me move the chat box. There we go. Let me see right here.
you zoom in on that.
That's as zoomed in as we can get.
Okay, cool.
This is a beautiful photograph, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take a picture of it, though, and post it
Sure, absolutely.
on our Facebook page. But this picture is absolutely beautiful. And, I mean, you can see a lot. Here, I'll have you hold it up.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah, now that's really well.
Awesome.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's downtown. And as you can see, what is protruding, the word of the day is protruding,
Okay.
right? Not sticking out, protruding. What's protruding there is the casino.
Yes.
And that's the Fox River right there.
Yep.
And that is a picture from the cockpit.
Yes.
That's an absolutely fantastic picture. I'm going to take a picture of that and post that for you guys to see. And do you remember you gave me a picture when I first interviewed you? I have it.
Was it the rainbow?
Oh, no, you didn't give it to me. I took a picture of you with it.
Yes.
Yes. It was a beautiful shot, but you had it framed. I thought you gave it to me. My bad.
So much has taken place since that interview.
Thought I had it. Like, but anyway, that's an excellent photo, man.
Thank you.
Excellent photo. All right. Time is 8:55 a.m. So as you know, well, first of all, man,
Absolutely, Curtis.
you my man. Dog. You my boy, man. It's as great to interview. Oh my. Sip it up. Did you got anything to drink?
Water.
Where's
That's
your water?
Fine. It's down
No,
here.
sip it up.
Okay.
We gotta. When we mess up, we sip it up.
Oh, okay.
Sip it up. Norma Peterson, all y'all drink something. Drink something at home. There you go. That's to let us know to cool out. Just chill. Okay. It's been great seeing you. First interviewing you and having you tell me you will be a pilot, and now interviewing you as a pilot.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm proud to be a client of P.O.W.E.R Photography as well.
Oh,
Proud to be working with you on stuff. Proud to be kicking around ideas with you too. And your passion for Aurora and making it, try to do what we can to make the city, right? Help it out and make it look good. Your passion for Aurora is appreciated, man. The show ends on a positive note. What is your message today for the people of Aurora?
Oh. So a lot of people, when talking about aviation, it's chase your dreams. And I totally believe that. Chase your dreams. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but it's totally worth it at the end. I mean, every time I step foot out of the aircraft after a flight, it's like, oh my God, that was so fun. Let's do it again. You know what I'm saying? So if you got a dream, work extremely hard for it. It's not going to be easy, but it will be totally worth it at the end.
Absolutely. Good things take time too, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So don't get frustrated.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't get frustrated during your dreams. It'll work out. I mean, who knows? You might start off in the bathroom. Anyway, time's 8:56. Daniel Calderon, enjoy the rest of your day. You too, my brother. DJ Suave Smooth is here. Good morning to you, my man. And Saul Oliva says it was a great show. I learned a lot. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget, tune in on Friday. We will be back to learn about microloans with Kiva and our friends of the Women's Business Development Center, Gabriella Bombin. And other than that, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's program. As always, take care of yourself and each other.